Okay, so I just finished the movie, or part one, of Time for School, and it was really a good video. I got a lot out of it. Um, it began by saying that 75 million people are without schooling, and I guess that was interesting for me just because I guess I forget that I see so much around me, so many people that are getting education, especially in our country, that I forget that other people don't have that opportunity. So, a couple of countries stood out to me. There was Afghanistan, Brazil, India, and Japan. And they're all different in different ways. I think that in the beginning of the video, what really stood out to me was that they were talking about how in the slums that even the people in the slums need education. They were talking about this little boy named Jeffrey, and they were talking about the education is very important for him. And then they talked about another girl. I'm trying to remember her name. I think can't remember, but she was really interested in education, and but she's in Afghanistan, I believe, and she has to face the Taliban. And the Taliban are people that, or men or group, that kill women. One of the things that they do is kill women that go to school, or they attack them, or their purpose is to make sure that women don't receive an education. And it says that most Afghan women are illiterate. And one of the Islamic quotes that was said, which was interesting to me, was that education is an obligation for everybody. And it's so easy for us in the US to see that. We understand that. We get that. That's how we live, is that education is an obligation for everybody. It's something that needs to happen to succeed in our country, but that's not the case everywhere. And so it was interesting to hear that. What was pointed out is that Afghanistan boys aren't allowed to do housework or else they get laughed at. So for women, it's twice as hard, because if they wanted an education, then they would have to either go to school during the day and work at night, not allowing them enough time to study, or vice versa. And that would be working during the day, going to school at night. So a big thing within Afghanistan was to just was that the girls really had to watch out for attacks on the daily, just in case they got hurt, or schools were getting blown up. And it was just like, it's insane to hear about. Moving on to Brazil, that was probably my favorite one to learn about, was this little boy named Jeffrey, and he excelled in school, and he did really well. And he had a lot of goals and a lot of dreams, and he was a very smart child, and he moved up in a grade above, and he did really well, but he wasn't able to graduate in that time. He was actually set back a year, because they were worried about his safety with other kids and if he was mature enough. And so I was kind of sad, because I think we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about our safety if a child is smart enough or more intelligent, or knows their education well enough to move up a grade. That's not even it doesn't even we don't bat an eye. But in Brazil, in a lot of these places, dropouts are high. The percentages are really high, and so it was sad to hear that he couldn't graduate when he was excelling in his grade, and that he was able to move up, but still, even then, the teachers didn't allow that. So that was really, really sad at the end. Then moving on to India, Neeraj, this girl, she went to night school because she had to work during the day. And I think her parents they didn't see the importance of schooling. So it was really hard for her to have a push to go to school. Um, and their big thing was that they wanted her to learn how to cook and they wanted her to get married. So you can see that the cultures are different and that some of the parents really do push education. Um, but in India, it was really seen that there wasn't a big push for that. Um, let's see what else. Also in India, boys just played. Um, but Neeraj was persistent in the beginning. She wanted an education. She wanted to do well. But something happened where she couldn't go to school for a couple months, and it really set her back. And so by the time she came back, um, a lot of her friends, a lot of the parents of other kids that she was friends with, put them into day school, and so the night school shut down. And so she wasn't able to do night school, and then she was able to, but she was in a second grade level. And that put her back like a couple years. And so she eventually dropped out, and her goals changed. She wanted to be, I think, a teacher or build her own. I think I'm trying to remember. She wanted to build her own school. And so after she dropped out, all she really cared about was work and a future husband. And so it was just kind of sad and interesting to see that, because I think around her age, she was like 9 to 11, she had already dropped out. And so she never had a push with her parents, which is really sad, because that's one of the things that helps you go to school. It helps you be interested in schools when your parents kind of give you that push. And the last place was Japan. And this Japan is very different from all the rest. They definitely are more hardcore on the children. They start at like age 1, and they used to really, really push their kids. And so then they started to cut down Saturday classes so that it wasn't so tough. And then now teachers are saying that their will to want to do better, to push themselves, is not as high. So they're kind of worrying about their students. But they have a really good system, and the kids know a lot. And they were talking, when the parent was talking about his son, I forgot what his name is, but they were saying that he's learned a lot about other countries and how they work, especially in education, and he doesn't realize that he has it so well. He doesn't understand that, like, education is a privilege, that it's something that doesn't always come to everybody else. And one thing that was said at the beginning, at the end of the video as well, was that every country committed to free primary education by the year 2015. And so my ideas on that is that I really hope that we can at least do primary education for kids everywhere. I think it's something that's so important that we all need to learn to be somewhat successful, no matter if you're in the slums, if you're in middle class, if you're in wherever. I think it's something that's super important for every kid, and it gives them value and purpose in their life. So I hope that we can achieve that goal soon. All of us as a unit can do that, and it would really, really help the people, the kids, our future generations, to be able to achieve really amazing things. And so I really enjoyed this video, and I hope that we can all help each other do well in the future. So yeah, thanks.